So now let's draw the first war card of the game. War column movement. North moves 1. So the first card we draw, we just look at the top and that tells us what to do, how to move. The rest is completely ignored. So, yeah. So how does this work? Move towards nearest rancheria, stop in a space with allied tribe, band or rancheria. If already in same space as allied tribe, band or rancheria, the war column does not move. Well, they're going to move. And the question is towards the nearest rancheria, which would be this one. So they're going to move. But there's an allied tribe. Does that matter? Okay, so they're going to move here. Now we have to check. It's interesting that they don't move towards the nearest band. They move towards the nearest rancheria. And this one is 1, 2, 3 spaces away. This one is just 2 spaces away. So they would go towards A. And then we have to roll for attrition. And we roll a 4. So yes, they get reduced by 1 step. And then we draw one card, another card from the war deck, and there we read the text. When revealed, wide open spaces, decrease the strength of highest strength war column by -2. Okay, so they're now at 4. Okay. In each war space with band or allied tribe, player must fight a battle. Okay, so we're going to fight a battle now. Woohoo, I've never done this before. Okay, let's see. Combat. Battle resolution. Determine Comanche unit. If battle takes place in a space containing a rancheria, no. If battle takes place in a space containing an allied tribe, that allied tribe is a Comanche unit. If Comanche unit spends a guns counter, roll 2 dice, no. If no guns, roll 1 die. In either case, apply modifiers. Okay, we get to add +2 because we're an allied tribe, so let's roll a die. We rolled a 2 plus 2 is 4, so we're just going to mark this so that we know we rolled a 4. Okay. If the unmodified die roll is a 6, or the modified result is greater than or equal to 6 and not an unmodified 1, the Comanche unit wins the battle. And they don't get to roll at all. Okay. Battle modifier on war column strength counter. Aha. So we need to reduce this by 1, so we roll a 3. So it was a 3 all along, so all together, so now they win. So we win, basically, the allied tribe wins. And if the Comanche unit wins the battle, reduce the war column strength by 1. Oh, and we keep doing this. Okay, so they're now reduced to 3. And now we keep doing this again. So we roll 1 more time. And it's a 4. Plus 2 is a 6. So if the unmodified roll is Oh, sorry, forget about this. I completely did this wrongly. Okay, so let's do this again. They were at 4-1. We rolled a 4, all told a 3, so we actually lost the battle. If the enemy wins the battle, if the Comanche unit is an allied tribe, return allied instruction to the bottommost empty space in its column on the enemy instruction display. Battle ends, war does not end. Okay, so, okay. Okay. Okay, so that's it. So that was the war column, phase, and we're now going to go back to camp 2-4, and these guys go back and are finished. And here, what are we going to do? Yeah, we kind of need to get rid of this settlement in order to win. So we need to attack them. So we're going to go out with so first of all we're going to put all of these in here. 2, 5, 2, 5 and 1, 6. And then we're going to take these guys. And they're going to move out here. So they're going to move. They have a Mahiminiana with them. So 5, 4, and then they're going to raid for 3, and they're going to draw. Let's see, we have to roll for medicine. Our medicine is 1. Nope. So we grab 2, and that didn't work. We're going to do this again. Success. And we're going to grab captives. And we're going to raid again. And that didn't work. Okay, so 1 ravaged counter only. And then we're going to move back for 1. And finish this tribe, disband activation. Are we going to do more? I don't think we will. We will gain 2 activation points though. So, now we have to roll a die. Nope. Yes. We need to find out which enemy is going to, it's number 3, it's the west. I'm going to flip number 6. And then they're going to do a war action. we're going to recover this ravaged, and this goes away. Okay, so we got off lightly, but now it's going to be terrible because we have 8. 8, 17, 22 available enemy APs. Okay, let's get going. Who's going to go? It's going to be the north. Which one are we going to change over? It's going to be the hunt. Okay, so first we're going to encroach. The territory is number 3, so it's over here, and we just have 1 space. We actually have 3 spaces. We don't have any tribal settlements that we can use. What happens then? Oh, instead then we do a hunt instruction. Okay. So basically we're going to hunt with 1 or 2. So this one goes away. Okay, next up, that was the encroach one. Next up we have the raid. Raid. If there's already a war column in the map space, if the war column is already in the same space as a band or rancheria, terminate this procedure. Otherwise, move the north's war column 1 space and check for its strength reduction. Good, we're going to move. Let's check for strength reduction. And we roll a 5, so nothing happens. So that was the raid. Next up is the hunt. I'm going to remove 3. And we're going to hunt in this territory, and there's only 1 bison, so we're going to take this away. Next up is encroach. So we're going to make a change. We don't have one, so we're going to do a hunt. 1, where's 2? There is one, no, there is no bison in 2 either. So we have to roll again, so let's try 3 instead. Yeah, there is bison in 3, so that goes away. And then we have ally. And we're gonna do an alliance. And I believe we get to choose, don't we? Okay, we're going to actually choose this. Okay, and that is the end of this turn. So now what we have is we have war column movement. We discard the card from the event box and we draw another card. So south would move and west would move. That's not happening. And then we're going to draw this. While in play, alert pickets, tactics and lords of the plains effects inoperative while this card is in play. Oh, too bad, because we've got one of those. However, if already in the same space as allied tribe, band or rancheria, the war column does not move. If no roll 1 die for each in-play war column. If die result is less than war column strength, in our case 3, yes, it's a 1, we reduce it by 1. So its strength is now 3. Okay. However, we are in the same place as Comancheria. We must fight a battle. Okay. If battle takes place in space containing Comancheria, the player chooses which band in the resource box is going to be the Comanche unit. Okay. Okay, so we're going to take this unit and we're going to add our Mahiminiana to it. So we have a strength of 3. So, we're going to roll 1 die. And we roll a 2. Plus 4. No. Plus 3 is a 5. And plus 1 is a 6 because we have a Mahiminiana on our side. We win. Okay, so 2 things happen. No, actually just 1 thing happens. This one is reduced by 1 to 2.0. And then we have to fight again. So we're again at plus 3. No, at plus 3. And we roll a 5. It's a 6 because we have a Mahiminiana with us. So this one is reduced to 1. And we do this again. If we had guns, we would be able to roll 2 dice and take the better part. 3, 6, 7, that's it. This war column is destroyed and goes away, and our Mahiminiana gets plus 1 medicine. This band, I assume, is finished. It doesn't say so, but I just assume it is. Okay. So, that was the war column phase. Now we need to make a decision what we would like to do. And this is now where it becomes strategic, because we could now say we can try for passage of time, which would then also mean we could potentially check our victory check. However, we can't win because of this settlement. They're in the way. We need to get rid of these. So what we're going to do is we are going to fill up the space, and we really, really, really need to get rid of these guys. However, the question is, should we do a shakedown first? Oh, actually we needed to reduce our military point by 1 because we engaged in that battle. Should we do a planning phase? I actually don't want to. I'd rather get rid of this settlement. So what we're going to do is we're going to start riding out. Now I'm not sure if this means that since we had a Mahiminiana with us, he's now unavailable. Probably, yeah. Yeah, I will rule that it is the case. So we're going to send these guys out for 5. So we have 4 left. And we're going to raid. And that didn't work. So we're going to do it again. And we take 2 successes. So we're going to take captives and horses. We're going to add 1 ravaged counter. And we're going to raid 1 more time. And that didn't work. We're going to do it 1 more time. And we get a success and 4 enemy counters. So ravaged. And we're going to take horses, which we're going to discard straight away to move back. And that's that. Now, these guys are going to go hunting. 1 to hunt, to move, because they've got horses, and 3 to hunt, because we don't have a Mahiminiana with us. So we're going to take possession of this bison, and then we're going to go back to our rancheria. And then we're going to take this last band out. They have 6 and they go 1, 2. And then we're going to do a trade action, which costs us 1, and we're going to trade horses for food. And then we're going to move back 1, 2, and back at our rancheria. And then we're done. So now we have to check. For the first one, no. Second one, yes. So they get to carry out 1 free, and it's the north. Whoops. And the north will encroach. Since we don't have any settlements, we're just going to do a hunt action instead. Territory 4. There are no bison, so we go 1 up. 5. Where's 5? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay, and then we're going to let the south act. So the south now has a lot of possibilities. The first one is settle, so he's going to spend 3 and he's going to create a settlement. And that would be here. Then they're going to do the subjugation. We've never seen this happen because the last time this came up we still had the other card in play, subjugate. If, no, that's not the case, select a tribe counter to target. Select a tribe counter nearest to his MPs to one of the active enemy's enemy spaces. That would be this one, down here. Use only enemy connections, yeah. Okay, so then remove targeted tribe counter to stock. That's what you do, okay. Then we have another settle action. That would actually be this place. Now that does make sense, doesn't it? Then they will go to war. And that happens as follows. We don't have an active war column. We have no ravaged counters. We are not a peace space. We form a war column. Place war instruction into the active enemy's square enemy space. Okay, there is nothing in there. So they get a 6 plus 2 for the settlement, so they get 8. Here we are. No, sorry, we need a... No, I guess this is the one, right? No. Ah, here we are. Good. Okay, so that's that. This has now been created. End of round. Because... Oh no, they still can do stuff because they still have 5 enemy APs. So the next one would also be war. And if they already have an available column, but it's not in the same... If active enemy already has a war column in a map space. Otherwise, perform 3.1 steps 1 and 2. Discard card from the war event box. Draw. South moves. Okay, all of them actually move. Well, we only have the one, but if we had more, then they would all move. And the south moves 1 to the nearest Comancheria, which is over there, probably, or there. So they're just going to move here. I don't know if they're actually visible. Let me check what this means with regard to visibility. 3. information on what visibility is like and where you see what should be there and not just here. I've no idea how you can actually see if something is visible. I have no idea how you can tell if something is visible or not, because I doubt that they can see from down here up there. So we're just going to reduce them one step. And then we have culture as the last one. 1, 2, 3. And that's going to, it might actually end the game. Player loses 1 culture point. Player loses 1 additional culture point for each settlement belonging to the active enemy. So we lose, no, not quite. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we're still good. Okay, so that was the end. So operations now moves to 5. Okay, so now it's us again. Oh yeah, we forgot to draw the war event card. What does that do? What would that have done? When revealed, surprise attack, highest strength war column within 2 spaces of and not in the same space as a rancheria, allied tribe or band. Use random select, blah, is placed, blah, nothing happens. Okay. So, if we can knock this one out, we could potentially win the game. Or we could also do a planning and do the shakedown dance. Yeah, we're gonna do this. So sorry, first comes the war column phase. We discard this card, we draw this. They can't see anyone, so we just roll. We don't even need to roll, we just reduce them. And then we draw another card for its effect. Countermeasures action, surrender captives. After a band possessing 1 or more captives is marked as finished in a war space, spend all captives possessed by this band, then war ends. Yeah, it's not relevant. Okay. We're going to do the shakedown thing. So first of all, we find out if we have a... Yes, we do. Each Mahimiana with +1 success in his medicine track gets medicine +1. Then we transfer 1 success from the Mahimiana to the Paraibos medicine track. Done. If success remain in Mahimiana's medicine track, medicine +1, and transfer the success operations with fewest successes. Done. In each rancheria with +1 success on Paraibos medicine track, increase the Paraibos medicine +1 per success. And then transfer all of his successes to the out of play box. Each in-play Rancheria's Paraibo may either conduct one headman action or attempt to take more than one headman action. And we're going to spend 1 AP to return 1 success to the cup. All finished band strengths is reduced by 1. We don't have any. Enemy executes 1 free instruction. It's the north. And they will hunt. There are no bisons, so nothing happens. Now we roll a die, and it's a 1. And we will need to must do passage of time. And then we do the cleanup. No. Two enemy APs. Let's see which enemy is going to activate. We've got 4 points in total. And it is the West. And the West is gonna do a settle action. But no, they will not, because settle works like this. If +1 ravaged counters in an enemy space belonging to blah, remove it and then it stays the same, nothing happens. Okay, that was good. And that was all there was to it, because okay, now we have to do passage of time. Mark all in-play bands as unfinished. Yeah, player may spend resources counters from in-play rancherias in order to create new band counters. Okay, we're going to do this for this one over here. So we're going to spend a bison and we're going to get 1 additional one for Rancheria B. We can also spend population points to increase the strength of existing ones. And we're going to create 1 more. And we're going to spend one more to increase that one. Okay, good. Player may spend resource counters. Player may place one new rancheria into a space occupied by a lone band. We don't have that. The new no. Player may voluntarily retire any Mahiminiana with medicine greater than 1 in order to transfer his medicine to his rancheria's Paraibo. Yeah. Roll a die for each in play, excepting those in which a Mahiminiana is retired in step 5. He's fine. He isn't. He dies. And he has, and the new one has a medicine of 2. This one gets a medicine of 1. All of this goes back in the box and all the successes are replenished. Okay, so these ones are removed because they had 1 or more. Now we need to check our allies. This one stays, and this one stays as well. Let's place some bison in 2. 2 is here. We're going to remove all of these cards. And we're going to draw 3 new ones, one at a time. While in play, player may not trade in the weshed enemy space. Tactical advantage. Spend 1 AP to take into hand. As long as this card is in the player's hand, the player may risk losing this card in order to attempt to gain an advantage during step 1 of a success check. And this one, negotiation. Spend 1 AP to take into hand. Play from hand during planning operation. Headman action. Select 1 in play war column. War ends. Okay. Okay. The player may purchase 1 culture card. No. Place operations on start space. If passage of time is numbered space, roll a die. It's not. It's now. After this. Okay. So now, we're going to do enemy actions. Nothing. They have 3 points. We're going to see which one acts, and it is the south. And the south is going to do nothing. They're going to do culture. And we lose the game. Because, or actually, can they do this? Culture. Ah, yes, they have 3 points. Okay, what happens is, they're going to do the culture action, which means we lose 1 culture point. Now we are at 0 culture points. So if we don't have culture points, then we can use military points instead. We only have 2. We lose 1 military point for the culture action, and then plus 1 more because of the settlement over here, and then plus 1 more because of the settlement over here, which brings us to -1, so we've lost the game. Now that was anticlimactic, because we would have had a good chance to win if this passage of time had been in this box already, and if we had succeeded at doing a victory check, we would have won, because we're in complete control of the upper Arkansas area, because this tribe is allied, and we have 1 more rancheria in a different territory. Now that's an interesting game. I have to say that it's different from what I expected it to be, because I thought it was more card driven, but as you can see, whoopsie, you don't really draw cards very often. You only draw them during, well, the war column cards are different, but you don't draw these development cards that often. So they are different from, let's say, card-driven games like the State of Siege games, where basically you draw a card that deals with what happens on every turn. I'm unclear about this whole visibility thing, because I'm not sure if this means that these guys down here can see people up there, if they can only see it in their area. So if you're in the green territory, they can see you. Yeah, but that's probably the case because they can only move along the green lines, so they would not be able to get up there. I suppose I played this correctly. But it's a very interesting game. It plays, I think this was my first playthrough, and so as a result, of course, it played a lot less quickly than it would have played if I'd known what I'm doing. That's for sure. However, even with having to look up how the different things work, I think it was done really quickly anyway. So by comparison, I've played other games where I had to do a lot more looking at, just an equal amount of looking up, but to me it felt like a chore. Whereas here, although I think that the rules are terribly written, I mean there is no way why anyone would write rules like this, I think that it was, it is serviceable. The rule book is terrible, but you can bite your way through it. I would also understand, I mean this is actually a bit sad, because I think that this game could appeal to the non-wargaming community. But I think that, and I've also read this on Board Game Geek, for example, that people simply get turned off by the rule book, whereas this game I think could appeal to people who are not necessarily hardened grognards, but I think that they could definitely get something out of the game. I think that the idea of how to model this historical period is really well done. I really think that they did a good job there. It makes sense the way it is played. I like the decision making, and I also like the randomness that is brought in to make the AI work. And as I said at the very beginning of this video, or of this video series on my first playthrough, I really like how they implemented the AI. I think this AI board that you have, this little list of things that you can do, and how it basically operates, and how the how you basically select which action is taken. and how you also at the very beginning of a roll have to decide, or at the very beginning of an enemy action you roll to see who is actually going to go, number one. And then also secondly, you randomize the actions one more time by rolling to exclude certain actions. So the first roll you do is you decide which enemy you're fighting, and the second roll decides which of the enemy actions gets flipped. So you cannot completely predict what is going to happen, and that is also quite helpful because you know, you could think, okay, yeah, I'm safe because none of the enemies has a culture action on their tableau at the moment. So if they, you know, if they now come in and are drawn as the enemy to fight, I'm safe because they won't be able to do much, because the one thing that I really need to be afraid of is the culture thing, and it's not going to happen. Well, you don't know that because first of all, you don't know which enemy you're going to draw, and then secondly, you don't know which of the enemy's available actions is going to be drawn, because it could be flipped, and then you might end up with a culture action in your first space, and that could end the game, as it did here. So that's something that I really like. There is enough randomness in there to make the AI unpredictable. These cards, I'm not so sure, because I also think that the mechanism of buying cards, I find it weird that you can only do it under certain circumstances. I'm pretty sure it has game balance reasons, but you know, I just had one card and we held on to it until we used it, and then that was it. So none of the other cards were in any way interesting to buy, so I didn't buy any of the stuff with the culture points. And buying culture cards, I never had enough culture points to actually buy them. I would have had to do a lot more culture actions, and maybe that's also key, that you need to do this more. So it could be a tactic that needs to be employed. But I definitely feel that the game, once you've gotten into it, it flows. Okay. It may not look like it flows when you're watching someone else play it for the first time, but I definitely felt from my end that the steps made logical sense, even though you may not necessarily know what each action does or how to carry it out. You do kind of get a feeling for it pretty soon. So, of course, then the big question is always, would I recommend this game? I'm not sure, and the reason is it only has 4 scenarios. So that might, you know, mean if you have, well, I mean, there is enough randomizations that you probably can never say you've conquered them all, but even playing this probably took us 2 hours, and it's the easiest and the shortest one. So for what you actually get, the game is very long. Someone said that they didn't like it because they felt that there was not much going on and a lot of dice rolling. And of course that kind of depends on how many games you've played. Have you played this often, so you know exactly how the game plays, or was this your first time? I would agree that when you play it for the first time, it seems like there's a lot of stuff that is simply die rolling, and you're referencing what needs to be done now, what needs to be done now, what needs to be done now, and it feels like you're mainly rolling dice. I don't know how much influence you actually have on what happens. and how much the game is playing you. I think this can only be gauged if you play this game a couple of times and always the same scenario, and try different strategies and see, do they actually work. So I guess, I mean, if I had to rate it with regard to other games, let's say to another GMT game that came out last year, Space Corp, which is a very different type of game, obviously. It's not a war game. There is definitely more action going on. So there is very little, I felt very little action going on. But I think it's a good game. I paid 54 euros for it, which is I think $70 or something plus shipping. Which is in line with the price for such games. It's a good game, but it's also not a revelation. I wouldn't say that this is one of the games that I would break out to really, you know, enjoy myself and have a good time, because it just it takes too long for that. So you really need to make a decision. Today I want to play Comancheria, and then, you know, say, okay, I'm gonna set aside 2-3 hours even just for the base game, for the easiest scenario, and just roll with it. But it is a good game, and I'm not unhappy that I bought it, and I wish you all a pleasant rest of the day.